You don't actually need a financial advisor to manage your money. That idea alone makes a lot of people uncomfortable because for years you've been told the opposite. You've been told that money is too complex, too risky, too technical to handle on your own. So you hand over control. You trust someone else to make decisions about your future. And slowly, without realizing it, you become dependent, not because you're incapable, but because of a few quiet mistakes that keep you stuck in that position. The truth is, most people don't rely on advisors because they want to. They rely on them because they've built habits that make independence feel impossible. Think about this for a second. Every time you say, "I'll let my advisor handle it," what you're really saying is, "I don't trust myself to understand this." That belief doesn't come from nowhere. It's built over time through small decisions, small avoidances, small moments where you choose not to learn. And those moments add up. Before long, you're in a place where even simple financial choices feel overwhelming. So you stay where it feels safe, even if that safety comes at a cost. Fees, missed opportunities, and a constant sense that your life is being managed by someone else. This isn't about blaming financial advisors. Many of them provide real value, especially in complex situations. The problem begins when reliance turns into dependency, when you stop asking questions, when you stop trying to understand what's happening with your own money. That's where control slips away. And once it's gone, getting it back feels difficult, even though it doesn't have to be. In this video, you're going to see the 5 financial mistakes that quietly push people into that dependent mindset. These are not dramatic, obvious errors. They're subtle patterns that feel normal because almost everyone around you is doing the same thing. But once you notice them, you can't unsee them. More importantly, you can start changing them. By the end of this, you won't just know what those mistakes are. You'll understand why they happen, how they shape your decisions, and what you can do differently starting today. Because financial independence isn't about knowing everything. It's about being willing to learn enough to take control step by step. It's about replacing fear with clarity, confusion with simple action, and dependence with confidence that grows over time. So if you ever felt like money is something other people are better at, or that you need someone else to guide every decision, stay with me. What you're about to hear might challenge the way you've been thinking for years. And that's exactly where real change begins. The first mistake is avoiding the basics because they seem too simple to matter. People often assume that if something sounds basic, it must not be worth their time. So they skip it. They jump straight to complex topics like stock picking, crypto trends, or advanced tax strategies, while never fully understanding how cash flow works, how interest compounds, or how fees quietly reduce long-term returns. Imagine someone trying to build a house without ever learning how a foundation works. It may stand for a while, but cracks will show. The same thing happens with money. When you don't understand the fundamentals, every decision feels uncertain. That uncertainty pushes you towards someone who appears more knowledgeable, even if what you needed was simply a clearer understanding of the basics. The practical step here is simple. Spend time learning the core ideas: income, expenses, debt, savings, and how money grows over time. When these are clear, everything else becomes easier to evaluate. The second mistake is outsourcing decisions instead of outsourcing tasks. There's a difference between asking someone to execute something and asking them to decide everything for you. For example, hiring an accountant to file your taxes is a task. Letting someone choose your entire financial strategy without understanding it is a decision you've given away. Many people blur this line. They assume that paying for help means stepping back completely. Over time, this creates distance between you and your own finances. You stop asking why certain moves are made. You stop reviewing details. And eventually, you feel like a spectator in your own financial life. A better approach is to stay involved in the decision-making process. Ask questions. Request explanations in plain language. Even if you still use professional help, you remain the one in control. The third mistake is fearing mistakes so much that you avoid action altogether. This one is powerful because it feels reasonable. Nobody wants to lose money. Nobody wants to make a bad decision. So instead of risking a small error, people choose inaction. They keep their money sitting idle or follow whatever someone else suggests without thinking it through. But here's the reality. Small mistakes are part of learning. Think of it like driving for the first time. You don't become confident by watching someone else drive forever. You become confident by taking the wheel, making adjustments, and learning from minor errors along the way. Financial decisions work the same way. Start small. Make manageable choices. Learn from the outcomes. Over time, your confidence grows, and the need to rely on someone else starts to fade. The fourth mistake is ignoring the cost of convenience. Convenience feels good in the moment. Automatic management, bundled services, and done for you, solutions remove effort from your life. But they often come with hidden costs, whether through fees, limited flexibility, or missed opportunities. When you consistently choose convenience without understanding the trade-offs, you pay more than you realize. The solution isn't to reject convenience entirely. It's to question it. Ask what you're paying for. Ask what you're giving up. When you understand exchange, you can make decisions that serve you, not just your comfort. The fifth mistake is building your financial life on trust without verification. Trust feels natural, especially when someone speaks with confidence, uses technical language, or carries a professional title. But trust without understanding creates a blind spot. You start assuming that every recommendation is automatically in your best interest, even when incentives may not be perfectly aligned. Picture someone handing over a map without ever checking where it leads. You might move forward, but you have no idea if you're heading toward your destination or in the opposite direction. This is how many people approach financial advice. They accept suggestions, sign documents, and follow plans without ever asking for clarity. The practical shift here is simple but powerful. When someone presents an idea, pause and ask, "Can I explain this back in my own words?" If the answer is no, you don't fully understand it yet. Take the time to break it down. Ask for examples. Look at how it applies to your situation. When you can explain it clearly, you're no longer just trusting, you're verifying. Now, when you look at these 5 mistakes together, a pattern starts to appear. Avoiding the basics creates confusion. Outsourcing decisions creates distance. Fear of mistakes creates hesitation. Choosing convenience without thought creates hidden costs. And blind trust removes your ability to question. Each one builds on the other. Over time, they form a system where dependency feels normal, even though it was never necessary to begin with. What makes this cycle difficult to break is that it doesn't feel like a problem while it's happening. Everything seems fine on the surface. Bills are being paid. Investments are being managed. Advice is being given. But underneath that surface, there's a lack of ownership. And without ownership, there's no real control. Breaking out of this doesn't require a dramatic change or a sudden leap into complexity. It starts with small shifts in how you think and act. Begin by choosing one area of your finances that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's understanding your monthly spending, reviewing your investment statements, or learning how interest works on your debt. Spend time with it. Don't rush. The goal is not perfection. The goal is familiarity. As that familiarity grows, something changes. What once felt intimidating starts to feel manageable. What once required outside input starts to feel like something you can handle yourself. Then, start involving yourself more in any decisions that affect your money. If you're working with someone, stay engaged. Ask them to walk you through their reasoning step by step. If you're making choices on your own, write down why you're making them. This creates a feedback loop. You begin to see patterns in your thinking, which helps you improve over time. Independence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being actively involved, consistently learning, and refusing to hand over control without understanding what you're giving away. There's a quiet shift that happens when you stop seeing money as something complicated and start seeing it as something personal. It becomes less about formulas and more about awareness. You begin to notice where your money is going, why you're making certain choices, and how those choices shape your future. That awareness changes your relationship with control. Instead of feeling like you're reacting to financial decisions after they've already been made, you start to feel like you're guiding them from the beginning. And once that shift takes place, dependence starts to lose its grip. You don't feel the same urgency to hand things over because you no longer see yourself as incapable of understanding. Think of your financial life as something you're building over time, piece by piece. Every decision you make adds to that structure. Some pieces will be strong, Others will need adjustment, but all of them belong to you. When you accept that ownership, something else happens. You become more patient. You stop chasing quick fixes or easy answers. You begin to value clarity over speed, understanding over convenience. That mindset creates a kind of stability that doesn't rely on anyone else. It grows from your own effort and your willingness to stay engaged, even when things feel uncertain. This doesn't mean you'll never seek advice again. There will always be moments where outside input is useful. The difference is in how you use it. Instead of handing over responsibility, you treat advice as a tool. You examine it, question it, and decide how it fits into your plan. You become the one who connects the pieces. And when something doesn't make sense, you don't move forward until it does. That pause, that willingness to slow down and understand, is what protects your independence. If you carry one idea forward from this, let it be this. Control over your money is not given to you by someone else. It's built through your own attention. Every time you choose to learn instead of avoid, to question instead of accept blindly, to act instead of hesitate, you strengthen that control. It may not feel dramatic in the moment. It may even feel small. But those small actions accumulate, just like the habits that once created dependence. Over time, they reshape the way you think, the way you decide, and the way you move through your financial life. So start where you are. You don't need perfect knowledge or a flawless plan. You need willingness. Willingness to look at what you've been avoiding. Willingness to ask questions that might feel uncomfortable. Willingness to take responsibility for decisions that affect your future. That's how independence begins. And once it begins, it grows with you. If this made you think differently about your money, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. And I'm curious, which of these 5 mistakes do you see yourself making the most right now? Let me know in the comments. This channel is not affiliated by any of their official representatives. The content you just watched is educational in nature, inspired by the publicly available teachings, writings. It does not constitute professional advice. Before making any major decision in this area, please do your own research and consult a qualified professional.